Hey Broncos, Coach JR here. Practice got rained out today, but today was the day that we were supposed to introduce our defense. And so we only have a limited amount of practice time left before our first scrimmage. So if you guys are anything like Blake, I know you spend more time watching YouTube than you do actually brushing your teeth.
Wrong.
So I am going to introduce our defense via video and upload it to YouTube. There's going to be 2 secret words that I give out during this video. To make sure that you guys watch it, the next time we do conditioning drills and we do the bear crawl, the very last one, I know how much you guys love the bear crawl. If you come over to me and tell me the 2 secret words, you don't have to do the bear crawl. So pay attention. It's going to be short, but this is very, very important for you guys to understand, to get us ready, to get ahead before our next practice.
I don't know the secret words yet.
All right.
What are the secret words?
Well, watch out, Blake. You're in the shot.
Okay.
All right. So we are going to run what is called the 5-3 defense. Before I get into that, everybody needs to understand, and it's probably a refresher for some people, the defensive gaps that exist on a defense. Just like offense, there's gaps from the defensive side of the ball. So this is the center right here. The center. Either side of the center is the A gap. These are that's the left guard and the right guard. Okay? In between the guards and the center, that's what's called the A gap. Right tackle, left tackle. In between the guards and the tackle, that's the B gap. Right tight end, left tight end. In between the tight end and the tackle is what we call the C gap, and then outside of the tight end is a D gap. Okay? So what's important to understand about the gaps is that everybody is assigned to one gap. You're going to have a gap that you're responsible for if you're a linebacker, defensive end, or a defensive lineman. Okay? So I'm going to leave that over there and then introduce you guys to, first off, the positions. Okay? So in the 5-3 defense, we have 1 nose tackle. Okay? So the nose tackle, who I've got listed as NT, right here, the nose tackle lines up directly across from the center. Okay, they're on the nose of the center. There are 2 defensive tackles. Defensive tackles, the abbreviation is DT. They line up directly across the offensive tackles. The defensive ends line up on the outside shoulder of the outside man that is on the line of scrimmage. Typically, that's going to be the tight end. So in this formation, that's the tight end on the outside shoulder, tight end outside shoulder. Okay? Cornerbacks are out here covering the wide sides of the field. What's important about the 5-3 stack defense is there are 3 linebackers. 5 stands for the number of linemen. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 linemen. 3 is the number of linebackers. 1, 2, 3 linebackers. There's a middle linebacker who's right behind the nose tackle, stacked behind the nose tackle, which means he's standing right behind him. We call him the Mike linebacker, Mike. There is a left outside linebacker stacked behind the defensive tackle. We call him Leo for left. He's the left outside linebacker. And then there's the right outside linebacker, stacked again behind the defensive tackle, and we call him the rip linebacker. And then finally, the 11th player is the safety. The safety is behind the Mike linebacker in the center of the field. Okay? So that's an introduction to the positions. Real quick, Blake, you want to set up an offense for me? What I'm going to do is show you guys the responsibilities of each position, and then we're done. That's it. So while Blake is setting up the offense, set up whatever offense you want, buddy. I'll zoom out real quick. Okay. Set up whatever offense you want. Preferably 2 tight ends then. While Blake is setting up the offense, I'm going to give you your first secret word. So your first secret word, set up the offense. Your first secret word is work. We've talked about work a lot. If you work harder than the other team, the other guy, whatever it is in life, if you work harder than the other guy, you will be successful. So the first secret word is work. All right? Remember that? We got one more coming after we talk about the defensive scheme. So Blake is setting up his offense. No, set it up this way. Okay? So we have the center right here. We're going to make him sort of back like he is in the picture right here with the gaps. These are your offensive guards, offensive tackles, offensive tight ends. Okay? This is your quarterback. Let's go with fullback, halfback, and let's split out a wide receiver out there. Okay? Be off the line. All right. So there's your offense. Now I'm going to set up your defense. First, we're going to start with the nose tackle. Nose tackle is directly across from the center. Now, going to add our defensive tackles. Defensive tackles are directly across from your offensive tackles. You have 2 defensive tackles, a right one and a left one. Next is your defensive end. Your defensive end is one of the most important positions on the field. You have contain responsibility. At this league, a lot of people are going to try to get outside. Your job is to let nobody outside of you. Very, very important job. Okay, you've got your 2 cornerbacks, which I'm going to sit here on the paper. This cornerback is going to be lined up over here across from that receiver, but we're going to play him inside a little bit. Okay, we're not too concerned that receiver is going to pass on us or going to catch a pass. Our primary goal is to stop the outside run. So we're going to play inside a little bit, and our cornerbacks are going to fight through that block and go up and get the running back if it comes outside your side of the field. So Mike, linebacker, in the middle, directly behind the nose tackle. Rip, linebacker, in the middle, directly behind the defensive tackle. And your Leo, linebacker, directly behind this defensive tackle. And your safety back here in the back. So this is our base alignment. Now, what's important to understand about this defense for it to be successful is these offensive linemen, reason you stack your linebackers behind your defensive linemen is so these offensive linemen don't know which gap is going to be rushed by, let me turn these right side up so it's easier to see differentiation. These offensive linemen don't know which gap is going to be rushed by the defensive lineman. And so we're going to take advantage of that with a couple of different calls. Now, just like on the offensive side of the ball, there's a kind of method to how we're going to call the defense. And the first word that I say when I call the defense, which I'm going to signal in with hand signs, is going to be directed at the defensive line, instructing them on what they're supposed to do and which gap they're supposed to rush. So our two base calls are going to be downtown and uptown. Okay? And really what we're talking to there is we are talking to the defensive tackle. All right? So downtown, and really downtown and uptown, the words down and up, we're telling the defensive tackles if they're going towards the ball or away from the ball. So downtown, this defensive tackle is going to rush what gap is that, Blake? What gap is that?
The A gap.
No, it's not.
The B gap.
B gap, right? A gap is here. The B gap. That defensive tackle is going downtown towards the football, going down towards the football to the B gap, right? Hold on. This defensive tackle is going to do what on downtown? When I call downtown, what's that defensive tackle going to do?
He's gonna go
down to the B gap. So these two linebacker and defensive tackles, they work together as a team. So if this defensive tackle is going down to the B gap, who has that C gap right there?
linebacker.
Show him. Leo linebacker has the C gap, which means simply, guys, the Leo linebacker isn't going to go and rush this gap, they're reading the play. If the play's coming to that C gap, they're going to step up and fill the gap so that the backs and the lead blocker can't get through the gap and then have space to run. But if the ball's not going through this gap, they're going to read the play and flow to wherever the ball carrier is going. The nose tackle on downtown and uptown always goes to the left A gap of the center. Okay? And the idea there is that most people are right-handed, and so they tend to call run plays to the right more than the left. So I want to get our linemen, okay, rushing in here, and this Mike linebacker, he can pretty easily see if the play is going to the right, and then he can flow this way. So we have an extra man over here. Okay? Let's talk about uptown real quick. Uptown. Set those back up for me real quick, Blake.
Like this?
Exactly how they were. No. Just set them back up. I moved them all around. Put them back in our base defense.
Base defense?
Yep. Where you're starting before the ball is snapped. Right? Good. Got that mic right behind the nose tackle. Rip right there. Ooh, that defensive end's got to be on the outside shoulder. This cornerback's right here.
Defensive end for
They're boxing, yes. What's their job?
to get around the right tackle and the left tackle. No.
The offensive tight ends, right?
Yeah. And
Nothing gets outside them.
yeah.
Nothing gets outside them. Okay. All right, good. All right, uptown, guys, uptown. All right, uptown is very similar. Hold on, sorry. Let me hold that right there. Uptown, very, very similar to downtown. Except what? The defensive tackles, instead of going down towards the football, they're going to go where?
Like that. They're going up.
Up.
To the
Now they're going to the C gaps. Up. Where do you think the Rip and the Leo linebackers are going? Show them, Blake. They've got B-gap responsibility if the play goes there. If not, they're going to flow. They're going to flow and try to read the play and then go make the tackle. Okay? All right, now what is the nose tackle going to do? Always nose tackle on uptown and downtown is going to the left side A-gap. Yep. Mike going to the right side A-gap. Okay? So those are our two base calls on the defensive side of the football. Now, if I call a second word after downtown or uptown, let's say that I call downtown Rip. Downtown Rip. Okay? The second word that I say, and I'll have hand signals for this during the game, is a blitz call. That's who's blitzing. So in this case, downtown Rip, you've got the defensive tackles going, that defensive tackle's got to be, that's going to be lined up over the tackle. You've got the defensive tackles going where? Down to the B gap. Leo's going to kind of fill this gap, but he's hanging back. Rip, as soon as the quarterback says down, Rip's kind of walking up, just slowly, walking up slowly, acting like you're not doing anything, just hanging out, right? And as soon as the ball's snapped, Rip is blitzing that C gap and going and getting the football. Okay? That's downtown Rip. So you guys get the idea. If I call downtown Leo, same thing. The Leo linebacker is going to blitz. And downtown Mike, the Mike linebacker is going to blitz. So generally, you guys get the idea of the system, right? I want to talk just a little bit about cornerbacks. So we've got one wide receiver out here, and this cornerback's playing on the wide receiver, but a little bit inside. This cornerback doesn't have anybody out there. So this cornerback is going to cheat in a little bit. So if the offense does a pitch, let's say they pitch it to this guy right here. I'm going to turn him upside down because he's got the ball now. He's coming this way. We've got a lead blocker. Here's how, and let's say that we've got uptown called. This defensive tackle should go and be rushing this gap. And this guy is concerned about this defensive tackle. Defensive end is boxing. He's getting outside, dipping and ripping on that tight end. Okay? This lead blocker is going to be coming. First thing this lead blocker should do is should be either going after the defensive end, if the defensive end is not blocked, which for us, they won't be. If the defensive end is blocked, it's be coming out here trying to hit that cornerback. So what has to happen from a defensive perspective is cornerback, you're thinking run. This defensive end's coming up, and this lead blocker is going to try to take him out. Now, he may or may not be successful. I expect that when that lead blocker tries to take the defensive end out, that defensive end is still fighting to the outside. Because guess what? This guy here, he's trying to get outside of you. Nobody gets outside of our defensive ends. If by chance he does get outside, or our defensive end gets so far upfield that he cuts it up, this cornerback, you can't hang out here and wait for this ball carrier to get to you. If you see run, you've got to plant your foot and come up and attack this guy. Okay? Because now he's got nowhere to go. This defensive end is going to be crashing down. And by that time, your defensive tackle will have gotten through and crash in from the side. Not to mention, you got your Leo linebacker flowing over here and coming up to make the tackle. So, cornerbacks, you have a very, very important job also to protect, contain. Now, I'm going to stop it there, guys. I know that's a fair amount of information for a YouTube video, but I want to get that base down so that whenever we start practicing on right in the middle of a fantastic YouTube video.
Hello.
That's Brooke. She is one of your Bronco Ponies cheerleaders. Say hi, Brooke.
Hi.
Whenever we start practice on Friday, I expect that everybody has already watched this video and is semi-familiar with the defense. And guess what? You can go back and watch this video after Friday, kind of, a week from now, a couple weeks from now, because it's important that every single one of you guys understand what we're trying to do on defense. The second magic word, I know I was going to get there, Blake. So thank you for the reminder, though. Before I leave, I'm going to leave you with this. The last magic word, family. We've talked about it all season long already. We're family. We're going to do this together. We're going to fight together. And that's what Broncos do, guys. So appreciate the time. Learn both the secret passwords. And more importantly, learn the defense. Let's get ready, come out to practice, and work. Signing off, Coach JR.